Oh boy, I can't even begin to tell you how much fun I have had making this new show, What Do You Want to Cook? I've met so many wonderful people that I already know, but I learned stories that I'd never heard before. We're making dishes that I wouldn't have really thought of. I mean, the content for the show is actually, it's driven by the guest, right? What do you want to cook? They're the ones telling me what they want to cook. This is super exciting stuff. Today, on this episode of What Do You Want to Cook, I have my good friend, Scott Justus from Astoria's only queer bar.
Hello, sir.
Xanadu Astoria. Thank you very much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
I've been looking forward to this.
Yes, definitely.
This is going to be fun. You told me what you wanted to make, and I've been thinking about it, but you're cooking today. That's what's going to happen. So Scott, you have Xanadu Astoria.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Tell me about your place.
So we are the first and used to be only queer bar on the Pacific Northwest coast. We've had some friends just recently open their establishment down in Lincoln City. But what we are is trying to really create a safe space for our community. One that they can come in, they can really just be themselves. Really not have to worry about holding hands in public, giving those little pecks that we give to each other as signs of affection that we may have in other establishments. It's not that other establishments aren't friendly, they're not welcoming. You can see the pride flags that line, Commercial Street and everywhere else here in Astoria, which is why we moved here to town. However, as somebody that's in the queer community, there's just those little places that just make you feel where, besides home, that you can just let your guard down and be yourself. And so that's what we're trying to be for our community here in Astoria and the Pacific Northwest coast. And we want to do that through hospitality, which I know you know a lot about.
I know a little bit about that.
Yeah. So different from the LCQC, the Lower Columbia Q Center, which provides amazing services and resources for our community, we're a gathering place, a place you can eat, drink, have a conversation. We have wonderful food, and that's really, it's a different atmosphere driven through hospitality and really creating that home environment for our community.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A couple of episodes ago, I had my friend Pat Kent. I don't know if you know Pat, but he's the operations manager at the co-op.
Yeah.
And he said something really interesting that I can kind of relate to what you just said, and that was there's kind of an adage that a lot of people think about, and that is there are three things. They have the third place, that other place they like to go. So they work, home, and then the other place. Right. And I get that. That's that I hope is what Xanadu is for some people.
It really is. We've really created a family. And again, it's not just for our queer community. It's for everyone in our community to come experience what we do. And, our windows are not, they don't have coverings over them, so you can come walk by, you can see what's going on. We have shows, but again, we have Sonny's next door, which is our cafe. I call it our straight cafe, just because when we first opened, we had it as all one place, and people kept coming by and like, can I come in here? Can I? And not as afraid. It was just like they didn't want to interfere with being in our space. They wanted to make sure that we had our space, and they weren't, trespassing or anything like that. And I'm like, no, this is for everybody. Our bar at Xanadu and Sonny's is for everybody. So we just rebranded Sonny's. So then we didn't have to explain it any longer.
Sure.
So people just started coming right on in.
It takes on its own life.
Exactly.
Right? It's part of this, but it takes on its own life.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah, but then they come in, they get to experience us all and what we're doing and realize that we're just like everybody else.
I got tons more questions for you.
Awesome.
But the first question, or my next question for you, is, what do you want to cook?
That's a great question. So, Chris, what I thought about when you asked me about what I wanted to cook was, where was my inspiration for cooking?
Right.
And why do I do this? And when I was growing up, my mom and dad got a divorce when I was pretty young. And when I go out to my dad's, that was one of the things that we would do together. We would cook. And on Sunday mornings, we would make biscuits and gravy, what he called sausage on a shingle.
Oh, SOS. That's what that is? I thought it was something else. Sausage on, I get it. Sausage on a single, yep.
Yeah, we'll call it that. And so that was kind of one of the things that brought up my memories, something that was easy for us to cook together and show the folks at home. You know, a basic bechamel that we do in the culinary industry, and then also because, you know, it reminds me of my dad and growing up in Texas and my inspiration for loving food and doing what we do. So,
that's wonderful.
Yeah. That's
wonderful. You know, I've had a lot of guests that they're inspired by what their grandparents used to overcook, and they want to know how to cook it properly. I thought, which is fun, right? Oh, geez, I made it the best pork chop a couple days ago. Holy cow.
Right?
Unreal.
But, you know, the amazing thing is my dad was an amazing cook. Had no training whatsoever. Yeah. But, I mean, he could, what we're making, you know, he would make in the morning just like we're making it today. Yeah. And then also, one of the other things that inspired me was when we smoked a turkey. And that technique of the smoking it, you know, the turkey and keeping all the juiciness within inside by brining it and then adding all the stuff inside it to kind of add flavor to it, in addition to, you know, smoking it for several hours. And then just when I took that first bite of that, just transforming my my palate and just expanding my knowledge of what cooking really could be. And
right, and you think about that now, right?
Yeah.
It kind of takes you back. You're like, you know what? I am enjoying what I'm doing, and this is where it all came from.
Yeah. And so just to be inspired by that and what we used to cook to now getting to do it for a whole lot of people. And
right. It's a whole different animal.
Right.
It's a whole different
I have to
animal.
go back to that inspiration and remind myself on a daily basis that's why we're doing it.
It's a different kind of rewarding, you know?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I got a lot of questions for you here in a minute, but
all right.
Real quick, folks, if you're enjoying our content here on What Do You Want to Cook, please like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends. We're about to make SOS, sausage on a shingle. My good friend Scott, right after this. My name is Chris Holen. For the past 25 years, I've had the privilege of calling Astoria, Oregon home. It's a place that's authentically reinventing itself and bringing about new life. And it's all happening through the incredible people that live here. They're making a difference, one meaningful act at a time. And that's not just an Astoria story, is it? It's a common thread intertwined through every thriving community around the world. Whether it's a small town or a big city, it's powered by its people. Folks dedicated to putting good out into the world. Now, What Do You Want to Cook? We're bringing these stories right into my kitchen. This show is about connecting with the heart of the community, no matter where you are. We'll cook dishes that tell a story. We'll explore how these guests are making a difference. And we'll discover together why these moments of connection are so vital in today's world. It's a cooking show, a talk show, and a celebration of good people. So, what do you want to cook? And what stories do you want to tell? Okay, today Scott is going to do the cooking. You know, I find it fascinating that, and I was really intrigued by the idea that although you're running a business, which I know a little bit about running the restaurant business, you're super busy. It can be all-consuming, sometimes overwhelming.
Yep.
But I was just super fascinated by the idea that you put yourself through an albeit an online culinary program. It's what you could do, you know, with the amount of time that you have. But that's amazing, man. Like, why did you do that? Why did you decide to, like, I need to get more education in the field of culinary arts?
Well, for a few reasons. Number one, running a restaurant and bar, I really wanted to make sure that I had the knowledge that I needed to be successful, and really the food that I'm putting out there was authentic, made from scratch, and done right.
Yeah.
But that's everything I do. Everything in life that I have really put an effort towards. I want to do it the best that I can do it. I want to put the most work I can do into it. You know, everything from my nonprofit career to actually I used to be a collegiate bowler. So I've competed at
that is awesome.
An elite sport level. So I know what it takes on the background in order to make put all that work into it. So when it comes to hard work, I'm used to it. And when it came to Xanadu Astoria and everything that I'm trying to put into what we're doing there, I really wanted to make it the best that we can make it for our community, so you and our other community members can be proud of what we're doing.
That's excellent. That's excellent. That's what a challenge, man. All right, so okay, we have old school copper pot.
Yes.
You know what the deal is?
That's fancy.
I have a set. Yeah, these are old. They're actually stamped, made in France. My family and I were on a trip in the Mediterranean, the island of Corsica, wandered through a flea market, and I saw this nested set of vintage copper pots. And I was like, I gotta have it.
I don't blame you.
I gotta have
would
it.
have done the same
And cool,
thing.
they're nested, so I actually still fit on my carry-on, which is sweet. Anyway, these are super cool. I cook in them all the time. All right, what do we got?
All right, well,
Show us what we're doing. I tell you what, too. As you go, I'm gonna capture all these moments on this one too. As you go.
Oh, that's
all right.
Pretty cool.
Okay, what do you got? Go for it.
Let's turn on the burners here.
That one goes. Yep.
All right, we want to put that on about a medium heat. And then once that gets up to temperature here in just a few minutes, we're going to put the sausage in. I think you got the sausage from the co-op.
As you do.
Yes. It's going to be good.
I picked up a, it's kind of a maple breakfast sausage from the Astoria Co-op. And it's pork from Carlton Farms.
Nice. We used to use the old Jimmy Dean back in the South.
Jimmy Dean.
So yeah, anything you got, you can even use bacon, anything that's going to render some fat into that pan. Some people even use some ground beef. So, but we want flavor.
Ground beef in the
Okay,
yeah.
We want some flavor. We want that sausage.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we're making gravy today. We're making sausage gravy, but what did you call it earlier?
A bechamel.
A bechamel.
Yeah. So in class we learned all the 5 mother sauces.
Yep.
As one does, and bechamel is one. The velouté sauce.
Yep.
Another one, because when we were talking about it, you asked if we were going to pour stock into it, and like, no, we're not going to make a velouté. We're going to make a bechamel.
All right.
And so let that render a little bit. That fat's going to stick there for a minute.
We're going to get some fat off of it?
Yeah.
Looks fairly lean, but okay. Yep.
We're going to see, and if not, we got some butter over here.
Yeah, we got a backup plan.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's always a backup plan.
Okay, so bechamel. So bechamel is one of 5 mother sauces, right? So a bechamel will consist of essentially, it's typically milk or cream thickened with a roux, which is typically a butter and flour cooked together will thicken. That's the gist of it.
Correct.
In lieu of butter, we're rendering the fat in the sausage. We're going to mix flour directly with, directly with the fat.
That is correct.
Okay, and then we're going to add half and half. We're going to go in the middle.
Yeah.
So we have a little higher fat content than regular milk, but not too much.
Yeah, I think back on the farm they might have used cream back in the day, but yeah, no, we're gonna go with half and half. You can even use milk.
I don't know. I ran into a woman earlier at the co-op, and she, found out I was making biscuits and gravy today, and she said, "Oh, I'm from Louisiana." I was like, "What do you use?" Cream, straight up.
Yeah.
Hey, fair enough.
Right.
That's cool. That's cool.
I love using cream. Like when we make our clam chowder, we use a really good cream.
Yeah.
And then one of the other mother sauces that we make, the tomato sauce, we make in-house over there at Xanadu as well to put in our into all our sauces that we make. So the barbecue sauce and the Scott sauce that we make in-house. You did buy some lean sausage today, so we are going to have to add some butter to that.
Yeah, totally fine.
Oh yeah.
Butter or oil? Butter?
Yeah, let's do butter.
Oh yeah,
butter. We're from the South.
I was planting just in case. How much should I put in there? So this is a stick, so it's 4 ounces.
I would say 4 tablespoons.
4 tablespoons.
Yeah, we're gonna put about 4 tablespoons for the 2 cups of milk that we got there.
4 tablespoons, like half of this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Let's do that. All right. So we've got to kick up the fat content.
And then the other mother sauce that one of the other ones that we were talking about is that butter sauce. Speaking of butter.
Butter sauce.
Butter. I mean, everything is better with butter. And
Everything is better with butter. All right, so yeah, we talked about that. So this is a bechamel.
yeah.
You talked about tomato. Tomato sauce is a mother sauce, right?
Yep.
That's the gist of that. Okay. Then you said butter sauce.
Butter
right?
sauce.
So what is that one?
That butter sauce is basically when you finish that meat or anything like that, you got that. Ooh, sorry, this one is.
We got enough?
Yeah, no, it's just. I was trying to break it up.
Oh yeah, my bad. I could have cut it up for you. Yeah, all good.
Sorry, I'm having a brain fart.
Yeah, no worries. I thought you were going to lead into the one that starts with an H.
Well, that hollandaise, yes, because that's the one that we used to make.
Okay.
Over there at Xanadu when we used to do brunch.
Okay.
Yeah, we had our little Xana sauce, hollandaise as we called it.
Xanadaise?
Well, yeah, because I mean it was our version of a hollandaise.
Sure.
So yeah, had a little something extra as we do.
Right.
But yeah, so.
Yeah. All right, that's what we're looking at right now. That's melting.
That is melting down there.
What do you think? You feeling like there's enough fat in there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we got 4 tablespoons of butter in there. So we're going to add about 4 tablespoons.
So typically speaking, when you make a roux, it would be equal parts flour and butter. However, you really just kind of need to build it as you go, right? So
yes.
as you go,
so we're looking at this.
Don't add too much flour and then have to go back. So add some, stir it. If it's proper, leave it alone. But it's hard to go backwards, right?
It is hard to go backwards. So we're going to start with that amount.
It'll be a lot like trying to take salt out of a dish, right? So
yeah, we don't want to do that. We learned that in class early. Maybe just a tad bit more.
Okay. It's important when you're adding a roux that you cook the roux down a little bit altogether before adding your stock or milk or whatever the liquid is, so that it doesn't come off as starchy in flavor.
You want to get that.
Yep. I do have a spatula too. If you want to switch, you go for it.
We are ready for the switch.
Happy with that? Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Now we got our milk.
All right. So here we go. This is where all the magic happens, Scott?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Cover
All right.
that up.
Half and half's going in. Okay, so we started with the sausage, rendered the fat. We ended up having to add, because it's very lean sausage, we added a little butter. All right. Then we added flour to it, approximate equal part. Okay. Stirred that together, cooked it down a little bit, and now we've added half and half. What's going to happen is the roux is going to thicken this cream.
You're so smart.
Okay, moving on. So we talked about hollandaise sauce, right? So we got tomato. This is a version of bechamel. Hollandaise sauce is an example of an emulsified sauce, all right? Where you take 2 normally unmixable liquids and you get them to emulsify together into one liquid, okay? Hollandaise is the mother sauce. Now, here's the downside of hollandaise is you're using clarified butter and egg yolk. So you got to remember to keep hollandaise proper, it needs to be kept at room temperature, all right? So if you're eating eggs Benedict at 11:30, you might want to ask when they made the hollandaise sauce.
Right.
I'm just saying. All right? So that's kind of the tricky part. Okay, next mother sauce, velouté.
Velouté.
Velouté is fairly similar to this, except it would be made with stock. It doesn't mean it doesn't have cream in it, but it would be made with stock. Right. So it's a roux, it's a stock thickened with a roux.
Right.
All right? Most traditionally, it would be like a chicken stock. All right? And number 5 mother sauce. All right, go. You're on the spot.
Oh, shoot.
This is a test.
All right, so we did tomato, we did bechamel, we did velouté, we did butter, and we did hollandaise. Didn't we do them all? Am I missing one?
Butter's not really a mother sauce. So there's a fifth one.
Oh, there's a fifth one that I'm forgetting about.
Okay.
You put me on the spot.
No worries, man.
All right, but that's why we have you here. And honestly, that's why I love being here, and everything that you do is what you bring to our community, which is the knowledge of cooking and the knowledge of what it means to be hospitable. Because I miss those dinners.
That looks pretty good. We'll have some dinner again, man. You just gotta.
So remind me of the one I'm missing.
Okay.
What did I forget to quiz myself on earlier?
The grand answer.
And I'm gonna be like, Durr.
Yeah, Espanol.
Espanol.
Yep.
Oh, am I missing the Spanish sauce?
Espanol. Espanol is a traditionally it would be a veal stock. So a beef or a
Oh,
veal stock.
demi-glaze.
Well, yeah, but the mother sauce is actually Espanol.
Okay.
And it would be a beef or a veal stock with the addition of tomato product. All right.
Yeah.
So what happens during the process of making this particular stock? You would add the tomato product at the point where you're roasting the bones. You would roast the bones till they start to get really nice and golden. Pull them out of the oven. For lack of a better term, smear tomato paste all over the bones, and then put them back in the oven.
Right.
What would happen is that tomato would draw more marrow and more flavor out of the bones. All right. Then they all go into the pot with the water, everything else, so on and so forth. When that's done and cooked for at a very smiley, I'm going to say boil. You don't want to say boiling, but it's like smiling. It's not even a simmer. It's just below that. For 10, 12, 14 hours. Some I leave it on overnight and just triple check that my stove was on the right level before I walk out the door. But then you would have stock. All right.
Right.
If you were to reduce that stock, take all the excess fat off it, reduce it down to where it would coat. Oh, I don't know.
The back of the
spoon. That would be demi-glace that you find in all the good restaurants that are serving a steak with demi-glace.
Right.
It's the real deal. They put the effort in to make that. So that's your 5 mother sauces. Now, here's the big lesson. Every sauce or salad dressing, even vinaigrette, etc., is a derivative in some fashion or some capacity of one of the 5 mother sauces.
Right.
So if you understand the method behind making the mother sauce, you'll be able to make a plethora of other things.
Yeah.
For example, bechamel, that
for our
right
sausage
there.
on shingle.
Hollandaise, tons of people would take that concept and make like make some sort of a kind of a creamy sauce. What else? Or vinaigrette, right? So like so let's say like this, right? So you have egg yolk, an acid, which is lemon, and oil, which is clarified butter. That's what makes a hollandaise sauce. Now, remember that butter will solidify when it gets cold, and can cause things to break if it gets too hot. All right. Now, if you were to take that concept and you had a vinaigrette, let's say vinaigrette, all right? So you have vinegar, some sort of, let's say, how about this? Berries are coming on real soon. So let's go blackberry vinaigrette, okay? Blackberries, maybe balsamic vinegar or red wine vinegar and olive oil, all right? The cool thing about blackberries is they have a natural pectin in them that will actually help to emulsify without having to add anything else. The pectin, the little seeds in there are pectin, and when you blend it all together, it will solidify. Now, that being said, it may not be totally stable. It may require some shaking again to bring it back.
Right.
One other thing you could do to that, if you would take like an additional emulsifier, natural by the way, like a dry mustard, put a little bit of dry mustard and then we blend it, that'll help hold it all together. That simple. Fresh berries, vinegar, olive oil, splash of mustard, season it with a little salt, and have a nice day. And you could use that for days. It's a good way to make your berries last that are about to come on. Well, all over the Astoria Riverwalk, probably, right?
Right.
Anyway, all right. How's our gravy?
Let's taste it.
We got spoons.
I just used the Chef Daddy salt seasoning here that you kindly provided. I do appreciate it. Yes. So. What do you think?
I could eat that.
Oh yeah, maybe a little more salt. Do you think?
Go for it.
All right. You
Go for
know, when you were talking about that emulsification, it reminded me when I was at Chez Panisse. We got to sit at the chef's table one year for our anniversary. You know, where Alice Waters has her restaurant, and we were sitting. He was making a hollandaise sauce for one of the appetizers, and it broke while he was talking to us because he was talking to us too much.
Done that.
Yeah, so he had to but he fixed it. You know, he had the little technique to.
There's a couple tricks.
Yeah, so he was able to fix it and get it back for service and everything. But yeah, that just reminds me of when.
No, that's funny.
And that's that's one of the other things that I was inspired by is being in the Bay Area with all that wonderful food, the farm to table movement with Alice Waters. And grab one more spoon. Let's taste that and then set it off to the side. And
here we go.
I'm sure it's about ready though.
That looks pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Let's see where we at. Oh, yep, very nice. You happy with that?
Oh yeah. Reminds me of home.
Reminds you at home.
Oh yeah. So now we want to slice this bread.
Awesome. All right, yeah. So we're gonna use, obviously, you could have buttermilk biscuits.
Correct.
Why are we using this bread?
Well, we're using this bread because sausage on a shingle actually was inspired from those that were living through the Depression and the Dust Bowl, which my dad grew up in, and so they would just take sliced bread, usually just the loaves that they would get from the local store, and put it out on a plate, make the bechamel from the fresh cream that they would have from the cows that they'd milk, and and then that's breakfast. So, luckily, as folks had more access to flour and better ingredients, they were able to make the biscuits, and then now we serve that in restaurants as fancy breakfast. So,
do you want anything on this? Should I just throw it in like that?
A little butter on it or a little oil, and
can I put a little oil on it?
Yeah,
right?
I think that'd be great.
Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil. We're gonna hit that in the oven just for a couple minutes, right?
Just to give it a little toast, so that way when the gravy goes on there, it just soaks that bread right in. And then
so, should we put eggs on it?
Yeah, I think that's.
You want 1 egg, 2 eggs?
I'll have 1 egg.
Yeah, that's probably good. Okay.
Because I gotta work on this figure of mine.
Couple.
I've been in the kitchen this last year.
Right?
Yeah. Which has been wonderful. I've been enjoying it, as you can tell.
It's good, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's different. Working in a kitchen is different. Like I imagine there's tons of cooks out there that can relate to this and do it for a living, right? Sitting down and eating a meal at work is like a foreign. It's like that's just something we rarely do that.
Yeah.
Right. You just kind of you snack throughout the day.
Right.
It just is what it is, right?
Right.
It's kind of part of your.
Eat.
Yeah. Right. They always say eating cold food fast.
Yeah.
You see some of those pictures sometimes, people sitting on an upside down bucket on the line, hiding behind the lines, smashing Anyway, whatever.
They got to sit down, looking for them.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been trying, Scott, the last few years. My life has slowed down for the past 5 years more than it used to be when we had a giant, when we had that 200-seat, a lot of restaurant, a lot of moving parts and this and that. But, I try to take time out to just sit down and take care of me for even if 20 minutes, half an hour. Sit down, take a break, have something to eat, chill out, and then get back after it.
That's been a hard lesson.
There still is those days, though, man. We're like, okay, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. So
it's the life, and we love it.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
That's funny. So
got the eggs going.
So Scott, tell me what. Okay, so you got Xanadu going on.
Yep.
Tell me what else you do. Like you were saying something about bluegrass music. I've heard you play, by the way.
Oh yes. Oh, that's right.
I have heard you play guitar.
I did do that.
So you're involved in some kind of upcoming project? Is it something new?
So yeah, one of the things I volunteer on is the board of Bluegrass Pride. They're an organization that makes bluegrass accessible for our queer community.
Yeah.
It tends to be leaning in one demographic way with our, straight male folks, but, the folks that are in that community are wonderful and have been since I've joined the bluegrass community and have been welcoming, and which is why I've got to learn the guitar and do that. So, so to make it less fearful for those that aren't familiar with that, we've created this organization and support the folks learning how to play an instrument and really be in community.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of what we're losing with the social media generation is that connection. So it's another way for folks to connect through song and music. And so we're going to be bringing a bluegrass camp here next summer, the 21st to the 26th. You can go to bluegrasspride.net and check it out.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So
Here.
yeah,
Astoria.
Here at the
I like it.
Charlene Larson Center for the Performing Arts, and
That's great.
and at various other locations. So yeah,
Good for you.
here we go.
That's a fun little project.
It will be.
That's a fun little
I mean,
project.
music fills my heart. It's one of the reasons we do that at Xanadu is,
Yeah.
one of the best groups that we've had is Fog Holler, which is a queer-led bluegrass band that was just incredible. Had everybody hollering and hooting and having a good time.
Awesome.
These plates ready for us.
All right, got a couple eggs. That one's off. All right. Do you heat it back up at all?
I think it's good, actually.
It's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I mean, it hadn't been that long. If it had been a little
All right.
bit, yeah, we could probably do it, but I think we're good.
All right. Well, let's
You ready?
have a look. Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Oh, here's the other one. SOS.
Yes. It saved him from the Dust Bowl. It'll save us from lunch.
Right?
Right? Oh. Thank you for getting that for me.
No worries.
Oh, I dribbled.
Does the smell bring back wonderful childhood memories?
Excellent childhood memories. Yeah, I mean, I'm so lucky. I had great parents, my mom and dad both, and even though they weren't together, they were certainly good parents. And
Yeah.
my dad's still with us, and I'll go see him.
No kidding. How old's your dad?
He turns 93 in August, so I will be going to Texas in the heat of the summer to go see my dad.
Awesome.
And we got some chives here from the garden.
Look at that.
That's right. I'm trying to become Martha Stewart.
There you go, Martha Stewart.
From my garden, yes.
Yes, from your garden.
Yes. Let's make sure they are crossed properly.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Now you serve this at your place.
So
you serve this at your place, or
we do not serve this at our place
Okay.
currently because we had to discontinue brunch. Unfortunately, our location is really small. As you know, it's a kind of per seat.
It's almost like I consider like a shotgun style.
Yeah.
Space. Yeah.
So, and then, the previous owners who owned the building, they had a little less overhead than we do, so it was a little more overhead. And
Sure. Yeah,
so we
there's
just,
a lot of.
so yeah, the business side of it, it's not working, but that's not to say that we're not going to get that there in the future. Right now, we're doing our pizzas, which I keep hearing are the best in town, and
Yeah, great.
and then also our grinders, our new hot sandwiches that we're serving with our new comeback sauce on the bread.
Yeah.
We got the Dutch Crunch and the hoagies, the Omarosa hoagie rolls that we're serving. So yeah, we got all sorts of things going on until we get this back.
I want to. I want to eat this.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
We got to get a shot. Here you go. Hold that up.
All right.
We got to get the shot. All right. Chef Scott Justus, Xanadu
That's right.
Astoria. SOS.
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 It's like I
That
see
looks awesome.
I got to see a blemish. We got to.
Oh, that's okay. That's gonna be for you.
That's for television. Are you ready to dig in?
I'm ready.
All
I
right,
already
let's do
got
it.
stuff out. Let's
Yeah,
go.
you do.
Let's go.
All right. You got to break that yolk. What do they say? Enrich the bechamel.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
You got to do it. Oh yeah, you got a little yolk in there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if it takes you back.
That's good. That egg on top. Boy, you got my accent coming out.
You got just like that. You see that?
Right.
I just know. I was like, yeah, that's straight up. That's tasty, man. That is tasty.
That's right. I had
Yeah,
to have
well
two
done.
bites.
Thank you. Thanks for making that, man.
Well, thanks for inviting me and
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
and having the conversation. And
Yeah, 100%. You know, you also said like recently you're taking on something else, like as a side hustle, as a volunteer thing, or as a
because I have a lot of time.
because you couldn't say no.
Because that
happens, right?
Well,
some people you can't say no to when they call, right?
There are some people like David Reed. Yeah, he's hard to say no to, and especially the project that we're doing, which is the nonprofit boot camp.
Yeah.
And supporting the chamber through that nonprofit boot camp. Because when I was at the chamber, when I first moved here, one of the things that we learned in the community that we needed was leadership, number one. So we created the Leadership Circle program. And then we also realized that the problems our businesses were facing, the nonprofit community were already serving to solve those problems. So how can we, as the business community, help them succeed? And so we created the nonprofit boot camp through our partners at Do Good Better, who actually have Do Good University. And so we facilitate folks onboarding to that university. We guide them through the process. We make sure their board is supported and understands their responsibilities and what they do. So yeah, I mean, it's all those kind of things. And I love doing it. I'm very passionate about it. It's what I'm about is leadership, community, and empowerment. Those are the three things that drive me for everything that I do. And so this
leadership, community,
and empowerment. So yeah, if I'm in community, if I am being a leader or showing others how to be leaders in the community, because that's really what leadership is really passing the baton to other folks and letting them lead. And then also empowering that community to be the best that it can be through either our critical thinking classes, through the nonprofit boot camp, through food and drink at Xanadu, and so whatever it is, our Bluegrass Pride camp.
That's amazing.
It's what drives me. So, and food.
I appreciate that very much, folks. If you're enjoying this show, once again, don't forget subscribe, like, share with your friends. Just saying.
That's good stuff.
Just saying. Scott, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
I appreciate everything that you're doing here to highlight the wonderful folks that really make Astoria. Because if it wasn't for the people that make our city what it is, it really wouldn't be what it is. So you sharing their stories, letting the folks know out there in the public what we do here, how wonderful it is, how safe and inclusive it is just incredible. So I can't thank you enough.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
It's my pleasure.
I hope that these stories and these people in this community inspire those in other communities to go after it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Learn from what other people are doing, right?
And don't give up.
And don't give up. Don't give up.
Right.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
It's a long road. This is a hard business, Scott, but don't give up. Everything's going to be just fine.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
For joining me today. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for making the SOS. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much again for joining us on What Do You Want to Cook?